What up? What up? What up? Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while for me, but uh, I'm back here. Just had to take about a few days off. It's been haven't streamed probably since last Sunday. Things happen. Busy November. It is what it is. But we are back, and I got another new sound effect. Uh oh. Uh oh. Yeah, yeah. We back. Let's play it again. Hey. All right. All right. So we'll start off with the Thursday night recap. And hopefully everybody's having a good Friday night. By the way, it's raining over here in LA, so it is what it is. I'll keep me inside a little bit. But all right, the Patriots versus the Jets. Just as I called last week, no surprise here. Patriots now are 9-2. They got 8 straight wins. Uh, I mean, this is just crazy. So here's the thing. I always knew the Patriots for real. I knew after like the first few weeks that Drake May's coming along, and if y'all seen in my previous streams, I've said, hey, you got to show them their respect. They're serious. But this is the interesting part. Um, they're atop of the NFC East, ahead of Buffalo. I knew they would be good and respectable, but I didn't think they'd be ahead of Buffalo, and they're 3 games ahead of Buffalo. So I saw a commentator. Well, first of all, let me run these stats first. As y'all can see on the screen, 27-14, 15 first downs versus the Patriots 23, 271 passing yards, 140 rushing yards for the Jets, which they kind of exposed the Patriots run defense a little bit. If you can talk about a kink in the armor, a chink in the armor. Oops. And yeah, they only had 1 turnover. So the Jets played an okay game, but as we all expected, the Patriots would come through and win. So with those stats aside, right, this is what we expected. We expected the Patriots to cruise through, but people are starting to call Drake May the MVP. People are starting to say that the Super Bowl runs through Foxborough. I have massive respect for the Patriots. They turned it around, yes. They are a great team. They will make a playoff run, yes. But pump the brakes on the MVP and the Super Bowl talk, please. Pump the brakes. They're just having a good year. And they will be that top team down the line. But they're still a young team. Mike Vrabel is still hasn't proven to be that elite of a coach yet. Like, come on, like chill out, guys. Like, I don't see them going to the Super Bowl, but I see them making a good playoff run. And people are forgetting that's light years ahead of what people expected from them in the beginning of the year. So it's just so weird around the commentators and the league where people have a good run and everything. Super Bowl MVP. Oh, no. They turned it around, and I've been praising them nonstop, and I will continue to praise them. But Super Bowl, Drake May being the MVP front runner, stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. My MVP front runner is Matthew Stafford. But that's another conversation, okay? Let's just talk about this. Pats rolled through. Congratulations on them. They are going to the playoffs. Drake May will be in the MVP conversation, but, actually, I don't want to say any buts. You already heard my discrepancy. I want to keep the praise on them because I'm really glad that they turned it around post-Tom Brady era. So I'm happy to see that. But pump the brakes, y'all. Pump the brakes. So that's my recap. And the Jets are the Jets, Field, he made some good throws downfield. Fields made some throws down the field, but he was dominating on the floor. He had some crazy good scrambles. Easily walked in the end zone on one of them. It is what it is, but obviously that formula is not going to work. You're going to have a running back at quarterback, you're going to have another running back, and then you're not going to have anything else going on for you. If they had a better defense, maybe that could work. If they could hold teams to under 2 or 3 scores, but that's just, it would be like basically the Baltimore Ravens. The 2000 Ravens, if y'all remember, they had, I think, who was their quarterback? Man, I think it wasn't Brad Johnson. I don't think it was. So it was like it was Trent Dilfer. You know, he was a manager. No disrespect to Trent, but they had that top tier defense. But clearly, the Jets are way off from that. Um, they could have been maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but they just got rid of Sauce, and he seems to be a little overrated. They were picking on him like crazy, but again, that's another conversation. But the Jets are the Jets. They're done for the year. So now they're just playing spirited football, doing whatever just to make a statement. They're now a more dangerous team than the Patriots, who have a lot to lose. Um, or not even really the Patriots, but just the top contenders who have all the hype around them, whereas the Jets can come in the rest of their schedule and just try to throw a monkey wrench into everyone's plans. But it didn't work this time, and the Pats came through and did what they have been doing all year. And I can't believe we're already in week 11. So now that's it. There's no more beginners, rust, or anything. That's it. It's not even halfway. We're way past halfway. How many weeks are left? Probably this 6 more weeks left of the regular season. So let's get right to it. It's enough's enough, and the Pats will go to the playoffs 100%. Okay, so enough of that. Just had to tell everybody, chill out, y'all. You know. All right. Okay. So, first of all, I don't know if you guys can you believe what the Dolphins did to the Bills? I mean, listen, and that's what I regret. I didn't do the recap because I really got busy last week. But I'll do some of the recaps when I talk about these teams. First of all, Washington without Jaden Daniels, we're not doing anything. Um, uh, but this is 2, 3, and 7 teams, both bottom feeders. They probably got a lot to prove. And I think if the Dolphins can have most of their starters, they might beat us. Whatever. But the Dolphins destroyed the Bills, and I know the Bills have a bad defense. But Tua was out here looking like Dan Marino. Like, come on. I don't expect this to be a consistent thing. But as far as this particular week goes, it's up for grabs because both teams suck right now. I mean, look, their numbers are damn near identical. 21st, 25th points per game, 325 yards per game, 299 for the Dolphins. Time of possession is virtually identical. Defensive sacks, the same. I mean, this is crazy. They are identical. And I never thought I'd be saying this because when Daniels was doing good, I'm thinking we going to the NFC title game again. I'm worried about the Rams and the Eagles. I'm like, oh, if we could just get past those guys, we'll be good. Man, we're done. But hey, 2, 3, and 7, literally identically statistical teams, and Marcus Mariota's okay. He can compete with Tua. So you could flip a coin here, but I did say earlier I'll give it to the Dolphins, but I'm a Commanders fan, so the Commanders. I'm picking the Commanders. Whatever. So, all right. Speaking of the Bills, we have 2, 6, and 3 teams. Both will be playoff teams. And I think they kind of been brought down to earth a little bit because I actually had Baker Mayfield in the MVP conversation, which you can still put him up there. I kicked the camera. Oops. But, this is weird seeing the Bills in this situation. And again, as people are panicking, saying, oh, they're in a free fall. They're not in a free fall. I think this is the game where they get it together and they beat a quality team such as Tampa Bay. And they will show why they will be in the playoffs. I guess the issue is they're going to have to face New England. And listen, if I'm going to put them two teams against each other, I'm going to choose Buffalo every time. So I still think don't panic yet, Buffalo. They're 6-3. They have a good record. And even if the Bucs lose this one, they still got a good chance to go to the playoffs. I mean, they really have nobody in their conference, so they're gonna walk into the playoffs. But as far as the Bills are concerned, the only one they have ahead of them is the Pats. I think they'll be all right. And for this particular game, I'm gonna have to go with the Bills. I think they're gonna win this one in convincing fashion because they have to bounce back from last week. So that's just my take on that. I'm picking the Bills. All right, San Fran versus Arizona. What is going on here with the 49ers? They got their butts whipped by my MVP pick and my, well, okay. I mean, I know I'm all over the place, but let's talk about the Rams first. As y'all know, the beginning of the season, I had Green Bay. So now I am going to change my mind, but my bragging won't be as powerful if I am right. But I'm going to change my mind and think that the Rams are front runners. I've always said they're the team to beat. They're going to be the top in the NFC aside from Green Bay or Philly. But now, really, their only obstacle is Philly. And the only reason why I'm saying Philly's their obstacle is because Philly's the Super Bowl champion and they always find a way to win. But with that said, they destroyed the 49ers last week. Matthew Stafford threw for 4 touchdowns. So, back to the 49ers. This is an easy win. Arizona's in shambles right now. Murray's out for the year. Briskett's going to make it interesting because Brisket is a good quarterback. But they're done. The Cardinals are done. 3-6. San Fran 6-4 for the record. And these numbers don't even matter. They don't look like they're that far off. And it's crazy because it's still they're gonna put Brock Purdy back in. I guess the Cardinals will be the team to do it against. But why would you put Brock Purdy in? Why? I was going to give Shanahan Coach of the Year, but this has got to be the dumbest move he is making. I get it. He's sticking to his starter. They paid him a lot of money. But go with the hot hand. Keep Jones in there. Keep Mac Jones in there. What are you doing? And this is my critical thing about Shanahan. He could never win on tough decisions. He didn't do it in the Super Bowl. He could never win the big one. And then when it's time to make really thoughtful, hard decisions, he's an offensive guru. I'll give him that. He built a great team. But why would you put Purdy back in there? Is it ownership telling you? What's going on? Why would you put Purdy back in there? Go with the hot hand. I would stick with Matt Jones, but maybe if I were him, he would be like, hey, this is a good warm-up game for Purdy. But the Cardinals are one of those teams that they know they're not going anywhere. They could try to ruin your chances. They want to ruin your day, So I wouldn't take a chance throwing Purdy back in there against Arizona because Arizona is probably very furious right now, and they're going for blood. And the 49ers, in my opinion, have the most to lose because they've been playing so well with everybody being hurt, and they really have to maintain that if they want to have any type of competitive edge in their conference. Because, I mean, they're only one game behind Seattle and the Rams. They're only one game behind. So, I don't agree with this. But anyway, I still think they edge out the Cardinals. But Shanahan, I don't agree. So go with the hot hand. All right. Speaking of the two teams to beat, this, along with the Broncos and Chiefs game, in my opinion, is the game of the week. Right? Both of these teams are playing lights out football. They are dominating. But people think I'm a hater. I'm not a Sam Bradford hater. I just saw him year after year be on good teams and just mess it up. Now he's on another great team. Is he going to win the big one? This, to me, is the big one. Aside from going to the playoffs or winning a playoff game, this is a huge matchup against the Rams. If he can prosper against them in this, I'll ease up on him. But I will never forget his playoff performance where he led the Vikings to the greatest record in the regular season, the best record in the regular season, not greatest, best record in the regular season, only to just completely tank in the playoffs. And unfortunately, they were praising him all last season. So me, I'm always gonna have that kind of cloud. Little old me, I'm always gonna be like, but he can't win the big one. But listen, Seattle is a machine. But they're going against my new top team in the NFC East, the Rams, and my MVP frontrunner, Matthew Stafford. I mean, I just think that this game right here might determine who's going to the NFC Championship, if you ask me, because the Commanders are out, obviously, and I'm not too sure about Green Bay. Um, I'm not too sure about Green Bay at all. So I'm gonna have to go with the Rams in this one because I don't think Stafford could win the big game. Okay, but I'm sorry, I don't think Sam Darnold, can win the big game. I hope I didn't call him Sam Bradford. Sam Darnold. But I mean, Matthew Stafford is literally thrown for 25 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. I mean, he is the MVP front runner. I don't care what nobody says, So they need to start taking notice to the Rams. I feel like the Rams are the sleeper team, and I've said that before, but they need to take notice, So I'm gonna go with the Rams on this. This could be a close game, even if even if Darnold. I don't know why I keep calling him Sam Bradford. Sam Darnold can keep it competitive. I will ease up on the playoff criticism from him. If he can have a big game today, even if they win or lose, then you can be like, okay, they're going to be serious in the playoffs. But in my opinion, in the NFC, the Rams have I'm not going to say solidified, but they have gotten close to pretty much showing that they're the best in the NFC, hands down. Even if their record is only 7-2, they only had 2 losses. And one of them was to the 49ers, which that was the beginning of the year. That doesn't even count because they made up for it this past week. So, yeah, we shall see. That's going to be the game to watch. Not much to see here. I think the Chargers. I'm sorry. This is actually a competitive game. I was actually jumping ahead of the slides. This is going to be actually a good game because Jacksonville still has a lot to prove. They did lose Travis Hunter, but let's keep it real. His stats weren't even that great. They didn't lose that much. They need to figure out how to utilize him because they're spreading him way too thin, and he's not doing what he's got to do. And whatchamacallit, Trevor Lawrence is pretty much really just, doing more damage with his legs than through the air. He's not having that great of a year. 10 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions, but he can move the ball on the ground. So, I'm gonna have to give this one to the Chargers just because they have a lot to prove. And Justin Herbert is still looking for his consistency. However, he's not so bad this year. 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. To me, he still isn't that top quarterback that everyone wants to make him out to be. But if he can do well the final stretch of this season, they could be up there. Let's see where they are in their conference. They're in a very tough conference. Let me see. They got the Chiefs in there. They got let me see. I just had the standings here. That's all right. It's Friday night, y'all. Yeah. So they got the Broncos and the Chiefs in their division. So it's going to be tough. And as far as Jacksonville is concerned, they just got to pretty much get through Indiana. They're 3 games back. And they got a fighting chance, I guess, but with this game, I'm going to have to give to the Chargers, Now, so on the NFC side, I said the Rams versus Seahawks is the game to watch. On the AFC side, this is the game to watch. Wow. I mean, who would have thought Denver? I mean, listen, I respected Denver all along. I knew they had a good defense. They got a good quarterback. They're going to win some games. But they are atop of their division and 3 games ahead of the Chiefs. Who would have thought, you know? And the question is, if the Chiefs can't get past the Chargers in the standings, do they still have a chance at making the playoffs? My Super Bowl frontrunner now 3rd in their division behind the Broncos and the Chargers. That's crazy to me. And I knew the Broncos would be good, but I didn't think they'd be this good. But who do I have this game? I'm gonna give it to the Chiefs. Better quarterback. I can't really say better defense because Denver's defense is playing lights out right now. But they got Spagnuolo, so they'll figure it out. They can be a top 10 defense any given Sunday. And I think the Chiefs now entering the last 6 weeks of the season, they have a chip on their shoulder. They really have a chip on their shoulder because they've lost some games that they should have won. Am I still going to pick them as the Super Bowl frontrunner? Yes. I think it's going to be the Chiefs versus the Rams in the Super Bowl. That is my new pick. Before it was Green Bay versus Kansas City. Now it's going to be the Chiefs versus the Rams. So I think they win this game. They make a statement, and they will move up in the AFC standings eventually. But even being 2 games back behind the Chargers, this is wild, you know? I don't know what's happening with Kansas City. Like 1 minute, they're like, oh, wow, they got everybody in place now, and they're the Super Bowl contenders. The next minute, they're falling off, you know? So, but I can't give up on them yet. I'm still sticking with that pick, even though I abandoned my Green Bay pick. I'm sticking with the Chiefs, and I'm going to pick them to win this game against the Denver Broncos. So, but kudos to Denver. You know, they're definitely going to make the playoffs. So, all right, Houston versus Tennessee. Boring game. Stroud is out. I'll just go through the numbers. You know, it doesn't even matter because Stroud had a concussion last week. And then you got Tennessee just horrible. Cam Ward trying to find his rhythm. You know, bottom half in literally every statistical category. Whereas the Texans, they at least have, they are 3rd in the league in interceptions and 4th in the league. In turnover differential. So if they got that good of a defense, even if their offense doesn't do well, they easily beat the Titans. You know, unless the Titans just, I don't know, figure it out. But I'm gonna have to pick Houston in this one. Okay, Green Bay versus New York. Normally, I'd say this is an easy win, especially with the fact that they got Jameis Winston starting. I mean, I love Winston. He's a funny guy, but he is an interception machine. He might throw 4 touchdowns, but then he'll give you 5 interceptions. So, on paper, I feel like this is an easy win for Green Bay. But I don't know which Green Bay is going to show up. They played terrible last week. They played horrendous. The past few weeks, their offensive has been stagnant. They can't do anything. Their defense is getting it done. But even overall, their defense isn't as good as we thought it'd be with the addition of Michael Parsons, which is why Jerry Jones was right for letting him go because he's not going to be a game changer the way people try to make him out to be. He's not. Jerry Jones did the right thing, even though that's a different discussion. But Green Bay's defense shouldn't be where they're at right now with Michael Parsons at the helm. Even though they held their last opponent to a low-scoring game, then if they play good, then Jordan Love doesn't do his thing. You know, it's just, I don't know which one's going to show up. So I have abandoned them as my Super Bowl pick to go to the Super Bowl until, I guess I can't keep flip-flopping. It's already week 11, but I don't know what to do. You know, I don't know who to pick. I mean, I'm going with the Rams, but Green Bay, they got to get it together because they were looking really good at the beginning of the year, and they just haven't had that convincing performance that's like, okay, these guys are for real. I mean, there's that one week where Jordan Love threw for like 25 straight completions. Okay, but then what? couple more games after that. Pff. So, but this will be an easy way for Green Bay because I just don't think the Giants, they're just completely done. They fired the coach. They're putting Winston as a starter. Uh, it's a wrap. If Green Bay loses this, I am going to talk so much junk about them next week. No, I'm playing. All right. Oh, this is another good one. Detroit versus Philly. Woo. As we all know, A.J. Brown has been very disgruntled. He's been keeping it cool because they've been winning, but I think he's about to explode now. And honestly, they just got to trade him. But the problem is, I don't want you guys to rely completely on Devontae Smith. He needs to get some weight up. He's a skinny receiver, and if you make him your main target, he's going to get hurt. The only reason why he's getting all these catches is because everybody's on A.J. Brown. You have another world-class receiver to take the distractions away, and then you just give it to Smitty, okay? So, but at the end of the day, they got to figure this out. I would say trade him, but then that leaves Devontae Smith vulnerable, and then that leaves their offense even more vulnerable. But at the end of the day, they're still winning. They're still winning. So I don't know what the problem is. And who do I pick in this game? That's a tough one because you know what? I'm going to pick the Eagles. Even though on paper the Lions look like a better team, the Eagles are proven champions. They can dig from the bottom. They can dig from within to make it work. And I just feel like they're going to make it work. So I'm going to pick the Eagles for this one. But on paper, the Lions look great. And they're having a little bit of a shakeup too. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Eagles. And now here's another dud game. Dallas versus the Raiders. Easy win for Dallas. I'm not going to make this too complicated. But at the end of the day, Dallas is done. The Raiders are done. Geno Smith, he had a couple decent outings, but, that's over with. But I guess I would have to go with Dallas. I mean, that's not saying much. Prescott is out of the MVP conversation, but, I'll go with Dallas, so Chicago versus Minnesota. Both teams are playing really well this year. 26 points per game for the Bears. 22 for the Vikings. They're third, the Bears are, in yards per game. And their defense is first in interceptions. So on paper, they look better than the Vikings, but I still feel like they do show flashes of inconsistency. But guess what? So does the Vikings. And J.J. McCarthy has done better than I expected him to do. So you never know what could happen, but I'm going to have to give this one to the Bears. Easy money. It's just that they're just on a hot streak right now, and I don't see them surrendering it to the Vikings. They're 6-3. They're just doing well. And let's see where they at in their standings. Oh, they are first in the NFC North, ahead of Detroit and ahead of Green Bay. Green Bay's third, but the NFC North is a really crowded conference. So, but I'm gonna have to give this slight edge to the Bears. But when it comes to that, I would say Green Bay will come out on top, but maybe Detroit might edge this one out because I still think Detroit is a better team than Chicago. But we'll see. That's going to be a very tough conference, the NFC North. All right. Carolina versus the Falcons. Man, oh man. I was just praising Carolina so much, and then now they go and have a bad game. So, but they're 5-5. Atlanta's 3-6. If Atlanta can stick to their running game, it'll be Dowdle versus Smith. from the Panthers, the Panthers running back versus the Atlanta running back, and this will be a tight game. This will be a tight game. Michael Penix is a good quarterback, but so is Bryce Young. So these are evenly matched, despite the numbers saying so. Actually, the numbers are showing that they're kind of evenly matched. Well, not on defense. This is one of those flip a coin games I'm gonna have to give to the Panthers. But you never know which Falcons can show up, So if they get their run game going and Penix drops a couple bombs, it could be game over. All right. We got the Bengals versus the Steelers. I would have easily said with Burrow out, give it to the Steelers. They got Rodgers. They got the highest paid defense, blah, 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 blah. But we all know the Steelers have been playing well below their expectations. They're just not a good football team. And Flacco, Joe Cool, is out for blood. So I feel like Chase and Higgins are going to have a field day. I'm going to have to give this one to the Bengals, unless if the Steelers play to their true quote-unquote potential. If they do, that's a different story. But I'm going to have to give this one to the Bengals. And then last but not least, Baltimore and Cleveland. Obviously, Myles Garrett's going to make this interesting. But as I said before, Lamar Jackson, he should be an MVP conversation just because of how different the team looks with him at the helm. He completely turned it around. Let me find my numbers real quick. He completely turned the team around. And all they got to do is get by Pittsburgh, who's not playing to their potential. So, first of all, for this game, I'm going to have the Ravens winning just because they have Lamar. Even though he did have to miss a practice due to soreness, but they said he's a full go. Myles Garrett's going to make it interesting, but this one is going straight to Baltimore. And Baltimore will be 5-5, and I think they will climb ahead on the AFC North to make a deep playoff run if everybody can stay healthy, even though their defense is bad. But maybe not a deep playoff run because their defense is so horrendous, especially with the injuries. But hey, you never know with Lamar. We'll see how far he can take him. But I absolutely think they can overtake Pittsburgh for the AFC North, just because he's that big of a player and he can change the whole dynamics of the game. And the Steelers just haven't been playing their potential. I know we're talking about the Ravens versus the Browns, but for this particular game, not easy win for the Ravens, but a decent win for the Ravens. And with all the drama going on in Cleveland, Stefanski's a joke at this point for not putting in Shedeur. They can put in check down Gabriel, whatever. But I don't even want to disrespect Gabriel, but Stefanski's going to be out of there, and probably Shedeur might get traded because I don't understand what's going on. But we're not going to make this about that. Win for the Ravens. Expect Lamar to have some top 10 highlights, and this will be the Ravens' climb back to playoff contention. Because if you'd asked me a couple weeks ago, I thought they were done. But looking at their conference, if they come out of their conference, they'll be all right. Pittsburgh is slowly, they're not free falling, but when it's almost like a slow death. They're just getting slowly worse and worse and inconsistent. It's like, they're not looking good, So, yep. But back to this game, easy win for the Ravens. So, I didn't use my sound effects this whole stream. So there you have it. That's my Week 11 previews. Thank y'all for watching. I'll be back Sunday night with some recaps. And talk to y'all later. Have a good week.